And we're live. Welcome everybody to another edition of Watch Talk with the Punters. I'm Blue Shirt. I have the Rancher joining us, and our regulars Thomas Burnett and NS Something, and our special guest today. Our special guest today is Alejandro, and his YouTube handle there is Alex Spain.
Hola.
Hola, Ale.
Welcome, Alejandro.
Thank you so much, Lizard, for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's our pleasure to have you. I just want to say a quick hello to everybody that's joining us in the chat. A big welcome from our long-term friend, Howdy from Texas. How's it going, my friend? Always good to see you. We got Mason One, Carlos, my Doxa brother, Logan Hall, Brent Albury, who else? Rajiv Marajay, good to see you, my friend. Rick from Rick on Watches, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Maynard Joseph, Penny from All in Our Movements, welcome, Penny. And Underachieving Watch Collector, good to see you. And Amin, welcome, Amin. If you guys don't know, Amin Reviews has a great channel. He does a live stream every Tuesday night with a fantastic,
great live stream, that isn't it?
Yeah, a fantastic panel of guests.
Yeah, wonderful panel.
I recommend everybody check out Amin's channel, and Penny as well. All in Her Movements. She's got an excellent channel.
Wonderful channel, that one, Penny.
Yeah,
really
so
good.
I highly recommend everybody check that out as well. Watch and Pray, good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us. So now that we got that all out of the way, Ennis, you want to kick us off with some news?
Sure. Let me just share.
Absolutely, go for it.
My screen, and we'll get started. So there is actually quite a bit of news this week. And so I guess it's starting to pick up a little bit. I'll just wait for the screen to start sharing.
Say hi to Bobby Legs quickly. He's jumped in. He's got a great live stream every Friday as well, everyone. If you want to jump on his live stream on a Friday.
Yes, good call, Thomas. I was just about to do it myself. Rob, welcome. Everybody, please check out Bobby Leg's channel. He does a lot of reviews, and he does a Friday night live stream. Abdul R. Watches, who we've had on the show before. Abdul, welcome. He's got an excellent channel as well. And Ken Spear from Pittsburgh. Hello, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Sorry, Ernest. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'm just waiting for Blue Shirt to bring up the screen share.
My apologies. You're on the second level, and I didn't see it. There we go.
Okay. So the first release that we'll talk about today is the Grand Seiko White Birch Special Edition. It's interesting because unlike a lot of the textured dial special editions, it's a high beat. It's not the spring drive. It's in steel, I believe. Yes. And it's reasonably priced. Let me just go to the bottom. It's $9,100 US.
Yeah, $9,100 this one, isn't it? It's a dial inspired by the local forest that grows around the brand's recently opened workshop in Shizikushi.
Ooh, easy for you to say.
Northmost province of Iwate. The striated pattern on the dial gives the great look of the white birch forest, or Shurikabi as it's known. I really like this one, Ns.
It's a nice one. I think they did a lot of good with the different textures. So keeping a little bit of that sandblasted texture in the middle of the hour hand, I thought was a very nice touch. I think the indices look very nice. The price is good. At least I think it is. The texture on the bezel is pretty nice. Standard Grand Seiko bracelet, right? That we've come to expect. I think overall it's a nice watch at a nice price. I do like the texture. I know that there are other high beats with nice textures like the Peacock and other ones, but I think this is a really nice classic looking one for a high beat.
Lovely,
So,
lovely.
What size is it, NS?
Good
40
question.
millimeters, 40 millimeters, and it's 11.7 millimeters thick.
So it's not a typical Grand Seiko monster. It's well proportioned.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with the high beat movement, right? So it is thinner than you'd usually see in the spring drive watches. So I think you get a good it's a good balance for that type of watch. Not too big, not too thick. So yeah, nice.
Being a high beat, it's 80 hours power reserve, which I thought was quite good. That's almost like sort of we're coming on for nearly 4 days, aren't we?
Yeah,
power
reserve, absolutely.
Yep.
Of course, this has also really captured my attention because, as you'll know, I'm all about the Birches.
Very interesting dial. I do like it. It's different, and that's a good thing for Grand Seiko, because to me a lot of their watches look the same, but this is I kind of dig this.
And it being a high beat, it does not have the power reserve breaking up that nice dial. So
yeah, good point.
Yeah, I would have to say, they could learn a lesson from Moser and put their power reserves on the back of the dial, on the back of the watch, because they really do. They do. It does. I know it serves a function, and it's nice to have a power reserve indicator, but it breaks up the symmetry of the dial, at least for me.
You're right.
It definitely does. I mean, and they do it with the Creedor, with some Creedor models. They do put it on the back. So I really don't know. I mean, they could even just put that, if they wanted to keep it on the front, they could just put the little hand and not break it up by having that little cutout, right? Just the hand, kind of like a lot of other brands do it, with maybe two, a plus and a minus, something like that. But yeah, they do break up their dials quite a bit.
I'm saying it's thinner than previous generation high beats as well.
And Howdy from Texas was asking, has the Snowflake dial become commonplace now that these new GS releases mimic a similar styling?
That's a good question. Look, I think the Snowflake dial has lost a little bit of its originality since it's been around for a while, right? And they've come out with many different variations on having a special texture on the dial. I'd say it's more than it being commonplace. It's maybe more what Grand Seiko's known for more and more, right? Because I feel like years ago, Grand Seiko, you'd think about, a watch with a very flat white or glossy black dial, right? Like their quartz versions, like something very utilitarian, very flat. I think now more and more they're known for a lot of texture on their dials.
Well, it's probably like the Eskimos. Doesn't Grand Seiko now have like 35 different words for snow?
What do you think to this one, Alejandro? Because you've got some Grand Seikos, haven't you? Are you a fan of this?
Yes, I have. Well, I have two Grand Seikos: the Snowflake, the green GMT. My father has the blue GMT. It's a brand, the more you have in the grease, the more you love it. And I also have, some other brands, like high brands, and it doesn't take a bit from Grand Seiko. It's a very nice dials. It does. They have done a very beautiful job and this is what I like it very much. The price, you're telling me that it's not very bad, but I think it's for a Grand Seiko, this range of price is a little bit too high. I think 5-6 grand is the top for a Grand Seiko. Beyond that, you are going to see another brands. But if you can get this watch below the cost, I think it's a watch you are going to enjoy very, very much. And you don't have to be like biased because of the name of the brand, because if you change Grand Seiko and you put Rolex on the dial, it's good going to be like skyrocketing on prices. And
yeah, sure.
I think it's a very, very nice watch. 80 hours power reserve, very accurate, and I think I like it so much. The price, it's going to be very high for me to purchase a Grand Seiko, but if the price was not so high, it would be a watch. It would be at least in my mind, for future occasions.
Yeah. I think one thing to always remember when we look at these watches, right? We're always looking at MSRP, and if it's not Rolex, I know this is a special edition, and I know that some special editions like JLC boutique editions don't get discounted, but the reality is that one way or another, you are getting this thing discounted if you look hard enough. So I think you should always take MSRPs with a grain of salt, unless it's a very limited edition.
So if you see the Grand Seiko, web page or the boutique or something like that, one of the problems is that a lot of watches are limited edition, too many of them. And it was a problem that Omega had in the past. And the problem is that if nearly half of your watches are limited editions, so they're not limited. You know what I mean? So it's a problem that Grand Seiko has done in the past. I hope it solves in the future, because I really like this brand.
Maybe this is too much of an obvious observation, but I look at this, and to me, it screams for like a bark bezel and a bark bracelet, like the old Rolex day date.
It does harken back to it a little bit.
Yeah, and I thought if you'd make the rest of the watch match the dial, to where it looks like it's made out of the same material.
Possibly.
Well, they did that last year with that crazy expensive Grand Seiko. I forget the model, but it had the texture case, and I think it had the textured bracelet as well, and they had one in gold, but then the price was getting like insane, right? Like in the $30,000-$40,000, but it did have that higher end Creedor movement,
right,
with the Philippe Dufault finishing. But still, I think look, even those limited editions, I don't know if you guys follow used watch prices. I mean, who am I kidding? You guys do. But so at least in Canada, you can get any of these limited editions fairly inexpensively once they hit the used market. And when they hit the used market, they're like mint, right? It's people that bought them and changed their minds or something. Yeah. So, it's like a Snowflake. You see Snowflakes at around 4,000 or 5,000 Canadian very often. So I think by the time most of us would be looking at those, they'd be reasonably priced. But if having the texture all over the watch meant it was like $50,000, $60,000, like the ones they did in the past, it would be a tough sell.
And this was 9,000?
Yep, 9,100 US.
91 US, okay. And 40 millimeter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Thomas, happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, thank you, Clive.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day to everybody around the world. Since we have guests and hosts and people in the chat from all over the planet, happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Okay, moving on.
Yes, Seiko again. So a couple of weeks ago, we saw a limited edition for their 140-year anniversary.
Yeah, the sharp edges pressage one, didn't we?
Yep.
We saw that.
So here's another one, Forest Green Prospects. So
three editions this time. They come out with a diver at $3,200, one at $1,350, and a solar powered chronograph at $780.
Yep.
Because green is the new blue, correct?
Yep. Although I thought red was the new blue. I guess they're a year behind now. So yeah, very interesting. Cool watches. I mean, it's Seiko, right? So, in okay prices, I think. I think the diver is a little bit on the high side, especially given the kind of bracelet and clasp you're going to get. But it's, it's a green prospects. I do like that this is yet another chronograph with, locking crowns. That's interesting. I was led to believe many years ago that there was only one in the world that had that, but we keep finding some. Nice. Nothing much to say about those, right? There's what you'd expect, their usual movements, which is a mix of normal Seiko movements.
The diver is basically a Marine Master 300-meter diver based on the high beat diver of 1968, and it's a simpler version of the Grand Seiko 9S55 movement, and it's quite expensively priced. Like NS said, it's 3,000 pieces of a 44mm diver at 3,200, but a basic Seiko, not Grand Seiko level. So it's
Right. So you kind of you roll the dice with the with the Seiko quality issues that will crop up from time to time, but still cool watches.
Yeah, the sumo case that's in the solar powered movement one that we're looking at now is 780 you're looking at for that one, so it's considerably less for the solar powered movement. But then again, you can get a solar powered movement in a Citizen for $100. So
yeah, I really think as nice as the Grand Seiko we saw before was, or at least I thought it was, I think these are very overpriced for the whole limited edition thing. But there is quite the community of people that will jump on these. So, again, right?
Sure.
I look at the bracelet. I look at the pins.
Right.
There's, as usual with Seiko, they never give you a picture of the clasp. They know.
Nor does Grand Seiko.
These have been produced in the Shizukuishui facility, which is home to the workshop of mechanical Grand Seiko watches. So fans might jump on that and think it's a bonus, but it's quite expensive. They're still expensive, I think, for the price.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think. Look, I think this is a great picture. I know that often these are prototype watches, right? But still, the cutout here, the application of the loom, 3 o'clock. The crispness of the 6 in the date there. You see, it's a step down in quality, and it's a lot of money for that step down. So. So moving along, I know there are GShock fans here, so why not have a transparent GShock? So it's a throwback to, I guess, the 2000 era when everything was transparent. So look, it's interesting, right? It's just another GShock.
Jellyfish GShock.
Yep. And it's fun that they had like they have all 3 main models, right? It's a fun release that will probably be sold out and sold on eBay for 3 times the price afterwards, but we'll see. So I don't think there's much time to spend on that. They're transparent GShock.
There you go.
GShock and jellyfish plastic, yeah.
Yep.
They think they're being clever, but we can see right through them.
Yes, exactly. One thing I'll say though, right? The pricing is reasonable, right? $110, $130.
Right. So
they're not.
You can't gripe.
Yeah. They're not charging $500 for those. So, but we're working our way towards something that's priced insanely too much. So, bear with me. So the next one. I don't know how interesting this is, but this is Messina. They did a couple of collaborations with Habring in the past.
I like it already. I like it. I'm looking at it. I like it already.
Yep. They just released this, they call it a prototype series, chronographs. It's like one of those older chronographs with a very busy dial. I think it looks nice. It's not equipped with a Habring movement though this time.
Okay.
It's I think it's a Salida movement. I'd have to check. Yep, it's the Salida SW500. It's okay. It's not crazy expensive. It's not crazy cheap either. 4,200. Probably should try to pay half of that. But think it's nice. It's okay, right? But I do think you have quite a few alternatives at that price. But got released this week, so figured we'd show it.
I really like that dial. That's really appealing to me, I find.
It's interesting.
And it is supposedly regulated to COSC standards. So it's, for what it's worth. So this is $4,200. So let's go look at a Panerai that's ridiculously overpriced.
Panerai have recently launched watches made from lightweight materials, and therefore precious metal one seems an interesting choice, doesn't it? So they've gone for one made platinum. This one, platinum tech.
They've been pushing the Carbo Tech lately, and now they've jumped into platinum.
Yep, platinum, $36,900
US.
My God! 70-year warranty. I think they're counting on the fact that nobody's ever kept Panerai for 70 years.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I'm wearing my Panerai now, and I love it. But 70 pieces with a 70-year warranty at $36,000 is $37,000 almost, and it's a bit much, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird because it's very, very expensive, and so I know Panerai has a built-in market, but what's interesting is when you look at the Carbotech and those kinds of watches, right? Panerai does make some really expensive, really special watches that I feel like are much more appealing than this thing, right? So
damn right.
Like some of the Carbotech with those crazy movements and those crazy materials, I find are like, at least you're getting something special. Here, this feels like it's a aluminum, marina, and platinum, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's what it is.
It's using a caliber P 9010 movement. It's got a sandwich dial like a lot of Panerais. It's got a green dial, which I quite like, to be honest with you, the green dial, and it's got the blue hands. And it's if it wasn't platinum, it'd be quite a nice watch. I mean, if it wasn't using that extortionate price tag, and it'd be quite a nice watch. But why the platinum?
Yeah.
See, well, they want you to look at the green dial and that way they'll remind you about how much money they screwed you out of.
Yeah, but you know,
I don't think they're
Thomas,
screwing you out of money. It's just that I don't know if people really want a platinum,
Pam.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Welcome, Neo. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Hi, Neo.
Always good to have you
Welcome,
with
Neo.
us.
And Thomas, you mentioned the green dial, but don't you find that green dial series that Panerai came out with last year was better than this? It had a better green. I forget the name, but you know they had that series where all their models were green, like military green. I thought it was better looking than this one.
Right. I don't remember those, to be honest with you, but I can imagine that they can do a better green than this. Yeah.
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 I think Pam was just going in such a great direction the last 7 or 8 months, and then
now this.
came out with this. Yeah, it's like, all right. I mean, maybe there is somebody who wants a platinum Pam. I don't think so, but maybe there are.
Yeah, I mean, I even though they're not, the hot watch anymore, there are still ardent Panaristi out there.
I mean, I still love my Pam. I would love to get one of the Carbotech ones.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah, I hope that this is just a graphic and they haven't done like many brands and put this on top of the Sapphire case back.
Yeah, I agree.
So from Panerai to a couple of Longines.
I really like this one. I mean, this was named after the aluminium-bodied Mercedes-Benz Formula One cars of the 50s, and the Longines Silver Arrow was introduced in 1956. It was first reproduced about a decade ago, but with the date and simple execution all around. But it now returned to close to the vintage original with the latest generation ETA movement and with a silicon hairspring. It's got a really nice fluted indices and soft hands on it. I think this one.
The indices are really nice. They have this kind of like Art Deco feel, and I like how they're different orientations. Right, the 12.3 6.9 versus the other indices. A little bit of that minute track, right? That's just barely noticeable and angled. Yep. It's very nice color. It's a nice watch, and it's, say what you will about Longines, but MSRP $2,100.
And argue with it.
They're on it. I think Longines. They've been on it for a while, and they're really pumping out some really great pieces, I think.
Well, I think they've been on it for their I forget what their heritage. The heritage series.
Absolutely.
The heritage series to me feels like they haven't had one miss. Even that one with like the patina, the fake patina dial, right?
Yes, which I know you aren't a fan of. I like that one, but
but even that one is not bad, right?
Right.
It seems like that series at least has not had one bad watch.
You're right, Ines. Yeah.
And even this next one we're going to see is pretty nice. They took their Dolce Vita watch and added a sector dial, a lot like that other sector dial that they created last year, right? I think it's another really nice watch.
Yep.
And again, reasonable prices. This one, I don't know the US price, but it's 1,500 euros. It's not bad.
No, not bad at all. And you get the best of both worlds. You get a rectangular watch with a sector dial.
Yep. I mean, you get blued hands, you get a date. Yeah, I feel like you're getting a ton of watch in their heritage collection. So, very nice. And just a few more. No, we don't want to take the full hour.
Sure.
But this one, I thought it was released this week. I don't think we want to spend too much time on it because it's just a Linen 28 Vainswit, right? And it's one, like many of them, it's a piece unique. But this one is nice because it has a really nice dial, really nice engraving on the case, standard Vainswit movement. So the usual nice finishing. So I thought it was like a nice piece to look at to break up the news.
It's
Very
lovely,
nice.
isn't it? Yeah,
very nice. I just want to say a quick welcome to Dr. Bill Sanders. Welcome, Bill. Thank you for joining us.
Hi there, Bill.
Hi,
nice
Bill.
to see you.
And the next one, we're working our way up to our Konstantin Chaikin, so don't worry, guys.
All right.
A Meister Singer release. They basically always release the same watch, but this time it's their astroscope with a date complication with the days that are represented by astrological signs. I think
I
that's
like
what it
this
is.
one, to be honest with you. I quite like this. I mean, I've not got a Meister Singer myself, but I'm quite fascinated by them, and I quite like the layout of the days.
Yeah, I think it's a nice look. It's a company that does one thing, and they seem to do it well. The layout of the days is kind of interesting, right? It's a little bit out of order, but yeah, it's a cool watch.
Welcome, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Thank you.
Hi, Bill.
I'm watching this. I really like that the Longines with the rectangular shape. I don't know what it is about rectangular. That one, yeah, that's a gorgeous looking watch. It reminds me of the what are they called? The Gondolo. Yeah, except it doesn't cost as much.
And it does also have that. What's that company that makes the bridge?
Quorum.
No, the other bridge one.
Parmigiani?
No, Bill, the watches you thought were too light.
Oh yeah,
Laurent Ferrier.
Yeah, their bridge watch looks a little bit like this too. With
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, this looks like the 5124 from Patek Philippe. I thought.
Yep. No, it's a very nice watch, and again for the price, right? You're talking about.
Yeah, great price.
Sub 2,000, and probably by the time you get a discount, maybe 1,500. So it's a nice watch.
It really is.
The last two releases of the week, I know I'm not a huge fan of the brand, but I know that there's a lot of fans of that brand. So the Longines, they have a world timer now. Thought it was interesting.
One for you, Clive.
Good for Clive. Why?
One for Clive. He's into young guns. He's got he's got vintage young guns anyway, haven't you, Clive?
A pre-Bond. It's a pilot watch from the early 50s.
I think it'd be hard to find a vintage watch brand Clyde that doesn't have.
Probably true then, Neil. Yeah, you're probably right.
Interesting watch, NS.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, it's a PVD watch, right? It's a $1,500 watch. It is what it is. I thought it's nice. They're kind of branching out into more complicated watches. So,
what kind of movement does that have? I noticed it had a 4 hertz movement, but I didn't see what kind.
It's supposedly an ETA movement. They call it the J820.5. They say it's ETA based, so it's whatever ETA can support a world timer module. So,
does anyone know what the relationship is between the German watches and Swatch? And the reason I'm asking that, it seems that a lot of German watches, like Zen and some of the others who've used ETA for years seem to be still using a lot of them, or have they been switching over to Solida?
Some have been switching over. I wonder if some of them aren't sitting on a huge, either a stockpile or previously ordered orders, right? But you see a lot of them switching. But you're right, Bill. A lot have, and it's interesting because a lot of them, Stova is an example. For years, used ETA as sort of their higher end movements, right? And they would really play up the fact that, oh, this has a genuine ETA movement, as opposed to the Swiss industry that would play down ETA and say, well, this is not in-house, it's our ETA movement. So,
it's kind of interesting though. Like Fortis has always kind of talked about their relationship with ETA and how they're just down the street. But they just, a week or two ago, they stopped making the official cosmonaut chronograph, which was kind of like a signature for them. And they, I'm wondering if they are no longer using the 7750 now that they have the Kanisi partnership.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, I think a lot of, no matter what they were doing, unless they had very special relationships, I think a lot of them are getting to the point where those relationships are ending, right? Because last year it was announced that it was finally ending. So it's probably starting now. So I think they have to look at, we're going to see a lot of them using other movements for sure.
Yeah, like Zen uses Solidas. They still have
an interesting development is the consortium between Swatch and Rolex and Patek Philippe on the silicon hairsprings. And that sort of seems to be a crazy mix of groups, two very independents and then a conglomerate. I wonder where that's going to go.
Well, that's kind of interesting too, because when you think about it, like one of the whole reasons of not doing coaxial by Rolex, that they would say, well, why take on this other complexity when we could just fix some of these problems in other ways? And having silicon was one of the ways that they could sort of try to offset some of the advantages of going coaxial.
Yeah, look, I think as independent as these makers want to be, the hairsprings have always been this kind of hidden, not really independent piece of their production. So maybe now they're making it a little bit more public, but I don't think that it's even remotely true that a lot of these fully in-house brands, right, including Rolex, were all creating their own hairsprings. I mean, even within a conglomerate like say Richemont, right? Not all the brands are creating their own hairsprings, and some of the brands are using GLC, right, is using Elanga hairsprings on their very, very high end. So I think the hairspring part of things is where they'll drop the whole in-house thing, right? It's just too costly, too complicated to make, and if they can pull their resources, they will.
Gotcha.
Two companies are selling. Moser sells about 2,000 watches a year, but something like 50,000 of their Straussmann hairsprings. And the other one that most people don't know about, that I found out a company that was using them and was very surprised to hear it, and that's Autocalpa, which is owned by the Sandoz Family Foundation, that makes all of the stuff, the hairsprings for the whole vertical organization. which includes Washer, and then of course Parmigiani and Hermes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's surprising how few hairspring manufacturers there are. Of course, you have some really, really tiny independent ones that make like just, like 20 hairsprings a year or stuff like that. But really mass production, high quality hairsprings, it's a very small group of companies that do that.
All right, moving on to the last bit of news, NS.
Yes, the last one is
wow.
Wow. Clyde, I'm going to ask you to make your jokes at the end. But this is the Constantine taken Minotaur. So it's so it's interesting because it's actually done for the Chinese New Year because it's the year of the ox, but they're mixing a standard ox with Greek mythology and the Minotaur. There, Clyde, your turn. Go. 5 minutes.
We turn it over to the Minotaur Wrangler.
I really like the date. I like the Friday, the date.
Yep.
So it only works for like 5 minutes a day? God.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah. What do you think, Neo? Because I know you like the Joker and some of their other watches.
This one isn't to me as fun as like, let's say, the Joker or the Clown.
Look at the mouth. Look at the mouth. It's great.
I don't dislike it. I just don't think it's as fun. I think like the Mouse King is a little bit funner, but yeah, it is definitely makes me smile. So and the fact that he added a day complication on here now.
Yeah.
So you don't mind it only works when it receives super chats?
Well, Clyde, I'm surprised you didn't point out the labyrinth on the eyes, right? It looks like it's hung over a little bit.
No, it doesn't work unless it's surrounded by like eight 20-year-olds.
Does it come with curtains?
No.
Interesting. It's interesting. It's not these watches are not my cup of tea, but interesting. And creative.
The papers it comes with, are they indictments?
If it was a little bit easier to get these watches, like right now, it's kind of hard to get these things shipped from Russia to here. Usually, you have to go through some sort of middleman in Europe. They end up adding costs on top of all that. But if you could get these directly from Chinkin, I think more people would have them.
Yeah, you kind of have to go through some sort of watch smuggling.
Not quite smuggling, but they are adding, like, I don't know. I think like the Audacity 2 was around 16,000 US. It doesn't cost 16,000 to get that watch from Schengen.
Right.
I do have to say I like the Joker. I did like the previous.
I like the Santa Claus one. That was great.
I really like the Mars themed one was nice too. Although that's a departure from his Joker watch, but they're nice watches.
Oh no, yeah, and he's got a book coming out soon.
Do any of the complications involve lady boys?
Yes, 3/4. So he's got a book up with all his watches in it that was published in Russian. I think by like the end of the month, they're gonna have the U.S. version of that book out too. And like I would go to his site and look at his watches, even if you don't like these sort of happy face ones, because they're really amazing. I mean, I think these are like the money makers, but the real stuff is behind the scenes.
I mean, I think we can safely say that these are watches for a person with a varied collection. This isn't going to be your only watch, because Howdy from Texas, as usual, has an excellent point. How fast does the novelty wear off when you're owning one of these?
Yep,
Cool.
I do have to say, if you look at this one, if you look at the dial and the sub dials and everything, I'll give him one thing. He has improved his finishing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you followed him, his early Joker watches, the finishing was, what I'd qualify as pretty rough. The price was always not crazy cheap. I think at least now you're getting a much better finished product for the price. So yeah, if you're into that look, and they're very nice watches.
The fonts around the eyes and the general design reminds me of something what a cow would look like in Fritz Lang's Metropolis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's
like kind of like a quote unquote classic ancient Greek font that he's using.
Yeah,
well, that's what it's supposed to be, right? Because of the Minotaur angle, it's supposed to be Greek mythology. So yeah, it's
I think it's very, very interesting. What?
Mm-hmm.
Would that be more of a Mootropolis?
And moving right along.
Yeah, I'd just like to say a big hello to our friends Flippin' Zippo. He's out there in the chat, and if you want to join us, Flippin' Zippo, you're more than welcome to jump on if you'd like to join us on the panel.
Yep, absolutely. Welcome, Flippin'.
Flippin', come on, Flippin', join us.
I didn't see you in there, so.
And that's the news for the week. So on to the main event.
Okay, and our special guest,
Alejandro, yes.
Welcome, Alejandro.
Welcome, Alejandro.
Muchas
Welcome to the
gracias.
show. Great to see you. Yeah.
So here's the very first question I have for you. Who's your favorite team in La Liga?
Real Madrid, of course.
Of course. Okay.
Real Madrid.
We got the soccer out of the way now.
The Kings team. So, Alex,
Yes.
how did you get into watches? When you first start? When did you first start, and how did it all start for you?
Yeah, it was really funny, because my father is not a big collector, but it's a collector, in the middle range. And I didn't was into watches actually, but I finished my PhD, like 4 or 5 years ago. My parents wanted to give me something special, so I was thinking, and I couldn't think about anything that was really special, something that when you look at 20 years from now, you remember your PhD, that special moment. And I thought, well, I don't have any watch, and for conference, at that moment, the watch market was nothing compared to what it's now, of course. So I wanted a dress watch, something that I can wear, in weddings, conference. And I saw IWC, a Portofino, very nice, which is definitely a keeper. It's my most special watch because of the sentimental value. A watch that no matter how much I've been offered, it's not a very valuable watch in terms of money, but sentimental is priceless.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I engrave it. I start wearing it. I start enjoying it. And the problem is that in Spain, when the summer comes, it's very hot. So the watch is in a strap. So I couldn't use it as much as I have wanted. So I start watching another watches with a bracelet, and I've watched Rolex, and I wanted also to have a couple of Rolex. So I bought a Rolex, and when the more you go into it, the more the monster traps you, and you start and when you realize you are down into the hole, and that was pretty much the start,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether you've got any photographs you can show us. Have you?
I'm gonna pull that. I was gonna pull that up right now.
One thing I wanted to say to the audience. So I was able to grab not all, but most watches from the bank.
Oh, wow, brilliant!
If anyone in the audience here in the chat want to see a watch in special, I can turn on the camera. and show the watch, here in the stream with the camera.
So you got the IWC Plus feed on the far right. That was one of your first ones, was it?
Yes, I can show you. I can show you in my webcam with a moment. I don't here.
Yeah, sure.
It's engraved, with the date of my PhD, Dr. Lorente, which is like the title you become when you do the.
Hold on. I will.
And it's like I become sentimental every time I watch this watch, because I don't wear it so much, but every wedding, every conference I attend and I wear this watch, I become sentimental. So it's a watch that when I have a kid, I'll pass to my son, and it's a very special watch, for me. It's the most special one, definitely, for me. It doesn't matter if you have a Patek or a Grand Complication or a Daytona. That goes beyond everything,
Mm-hmm. You want to show us again, Alejandro?
Sure.
Because I didn't have it up.
This watch is my dress watch, pretty much. And it's a Portofino. It's nothing special about it, but it's very simple. And the moment I watched it, like 5 years ago, I became in love with it. I was very young at that moment. And my parents, I don't know how, but they managed to engrave it, with
lovely, beautiful,
awesome,
with the date. And the day of my lecture, they gave me the watch, and it was a really special moment, So
wonderful. I was going to ask you, what does each watch mean to you? Is it a keepsake, or how many of your watches relate to something like a thing that is part of your watch's attachment to you? Do they relate to anything in particular, each watch? And
yes, so it's the thing is, I wanted to talk to you about my collection, because I don't usually, like, I go shopping and okay, let's buy a watch. There is normally some special occasion for me, and this occasion is related to a watch. So when you show a picture now, nearly, not everything, but nearly every watch has a story behind, which I think it's, it avoids you from flipping it like the next day, because the watch has a story behind it. Not as powerful as the IWC, but it's not like I usually go like in 2 weeks and say, okay, let's go shopping and I buy a watch. So pretty much every watch in this collection has a more or less strong story behind. So it does not matter about the price.
I was just going to ask you about the IWC. Did you choose that watch, or was it chosen for you?
I chose that. At that time, I really, really, really didn't. I didn't know. I knew nothing, about watches. Completely nothing,
Mm-hmm.
And I just picked a dress watch, because at that moment a dress watch was very important for me, for the conference. It was not the boom of the sport watch that is nowadays.
Sure. I was just going to say, one of the things Clive brought up about that watch in a previous stream when someone brought it up was the date. The date is quite set in, isn't it? It's set in quite a lot, the date on the watch.
Yes.
Do you find that a problem? Do you mind that?
Not at all. And the size is 40 millimeter, which if you're going to see my collection, and you're going to see that every watch is between 39 and 41 millimeters. And because I've worked in a hospital, I want to go low profile. I don't want gold pieces. I don't want, maybe white gold. It's okay, but I don't want to say like, look at this watch. I'm completely the opposite. I just want to be like low profile. Nobody watches my wrist. I'm the one who is enjoying.
Absolutely.
The more subtle, the better for me. So the watches are not going to be like a rose gold or something like that. Don't expect that in my collection, because I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Have you ever used your watch to take someone's pulse?
No. No.
Have you ever used your watch to save someone's life?
I use digital for that. It's a little bit more accurate.
Have you ever used your watch to save someone's life?
No.
Alejandro, I have a question about the one you're using as an icon. That's a post 2016 overseas, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
That's a nice one. I had an overseas I wore for years before I retired, but it was the older one. It was the OS one. Yeah, I love that watch.
The thing about this watch, as I told you, like every watch have a story. I prefer it on the bracelet, but because I have a couple of Rolexes, I have a lot of bracelets, so I usually have it on the rubber strap because I don't have a rubber strap watch, so I can vary. And the thing about this watch is I actually, not going to lie, I prefer the blue dial. This is a little bit more versatile, but I prefer the blue dial. The thing is that this watch is relatively new. Nearly everything is bought from my ID. So
right.
The thing about this watch is I prefer the blue one. But Vacheron is doing a thing nowadays in Spain. Spain has nothing special about watches, so probably it's all over the world. It wouldn't make sense just to do it just in Spain. So I'm pretty sure it's doing everywhere. So it's closing ADs and opening boutiques. So in Spain we have like 10 ADs offering BCs, and they're in the next like 12 months or something like that, they're closing and opening boutiques. So the blue one, it's going to be just for the boutique. So he was able to grab the black one, and they told me this is the last overseas we're going to have.
Really?
Afterwards, we're closing the BC distribution.
Right.
Do you want it? So I say, well, I prefer the blue one, but it's a watch I really like. So I grab it before it was too late. And I'm telling you, if someone in the chat is thinking about getting a blue one, and he or she has the possibility in his AG, just do it now before it's too late, or it may also be too late, but just do it before it's too late, because these watches are very, very, very subtle, but they are skyrocketing, not from the point of view, but they're going up in price. The last blue from when I watched this watch in blue dial, like in 2017, I could have got one for 13,000 euros, and now it's impossible to get one below 20. So
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, Rick is saying he wears his VC overseas quite a lot, and he wears it on a rubber strap quite a lot. Alejandro, do you remember your first watch that you ever had?
Yes, well, when I was small, I usually had this digital watch, the Casio. I had a couple of Casios, and a Seiko, but I don't remember which one. It was
sure.
My father.
You've now advanced to much nicer watches.
Yes.
I think we all have.
We're just supposed to tell you the time. At least I didn't appreciate it as much as I do today. So I prefer to watch the time in the cellular or in the phone. So.
All right. Why don't we start to run through?
We ought to invite the punters to mail us a photo or an image of their first watch and have them, jump on and talk about it. At some point.
That's a good idea for a future show.
In future.
Excellent.
Yeah, great idea.
All right. Why don't we start to run through Alejandro's collection one by one, and he can tell us the story behind each watch.
So the Bulgari, this watch, I know this is not for everyone, but my AD called me when the aluminum. I love blue, so I wanted an aluminum watch, and the Bulgari with the aluminium for like in 40 millimeter, which is the one I want, was offered to me like I think it was summer when they released the black and the white and the chronograph. It wasn't really my cup of tea, so I didn't buy it. But they end of the year, they have this limited edition, and it was in blue. So they called me and they told me, well, I think we have something for you. And when I watch this, I think, well, if I want an aluminum watch, this is the one to have. It's not going to be my nicest or the watch I'm going to wear the most, but it's an aluminum watch, and it's in blue. It's also a limited edition, which is not so bad. And I didn't have any Bulgari, and I don't want to have so many Rolexes and not to explore other brands. I love watches, and I would like to have a lot of brands, sorry. And that's a little bit the story about this watch. I'm not going to lie, I don't use it so much, but it's a little something different in my collection.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Indeed.
I was going to ask you why the Bulgari, but you've just answered it there, because it's an aluminium watch. It's really interesting that. And
it's
that
the first
particular particular model was designed by Gerald Genta, the Bulgari. That was for sure the one that he designed. They had some other ones that he influenced, but that was the one you have, Alejandro, is the one that Gerald Genta designed. The same guy who did the Royal Oak and the Nautilus designed this one.
Okay. I was offered, the Octo Finissimo, which is also Agenda design, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I tried, and it wasn't, my cup of tea. So I wanted a Bulgari, and I didn't want to spend 10 grand in a watch I wasn't liking so much. So I wait. I think this watch wasn't so expensive, like €2,500. It's not so expensive.
Right.
For sometimes I like enjoying wearing it. Very, very, very nice watch. I'm happy with this aluminum watch.
Ooh, sounds like the Vikings are attacking.
Yeah, the Vikings are coming again.
It's a lovely watch, and it was, I think it looks good on your wrist. Definitely interesting that it's aluminum, or as you guys say, aluminium.
Yeah.
It's just it's something different, and for like a person like you with your collection, it suits you perfectly.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, does it have the brand around the bezel?
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
that's great, because no matter how hammered you get, you'll always know what brand of watch you're wearing.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
So that was an interesting one, the Bulgari, wasn't it? Because the rest of the collection blends into more brands that we know more.
Yes, that's right. I have a couple of Rolexes and Pateks, but
this is interesting. These are interesting. Sorry, Alejandro. I was just going to say.
I just wanted to apologize.
These are very interesting. The Grand Seikos, because we don't see many Grand Seikos in collections, and it's really interesting that you've included these.
Yes, I was saying that I wanted to apologize because I couldn't bring every watch, so I couldn't bring the Grand Seikos.
Oh, it's for you. I'm sorry.
But at least I have a picture of them. I started with the Snowflake, which is the more icon, and it's not that the dial is nice, which is very, very nice, but the watch is so comfortable, so wearable. So it doesn't matter if I was in the operating room or at clinic or at going for a walk. The watch was just there, It's very light, it's very beautiful, it's very accurate. So I end up enjoying very much the Snowflake. So I wanted another one. My father wanted another one too. So we focus on the GMT line, which is a very beautiful line. And there's a blue one and a green one and a black one. So my father picked the blue one. In the photo, they see very similar, but one is blue and the other one is green. And I chose the green one. So we ended up having like 3 Grand Seikos. I love this brand. I spent maybe too much money on the Grand Seikos because I bought it for my AD. Well, sometimes you have to spend money in your AD so that they gave you pandas and something like that. But it's money I enjoy having on the wrist. You know, it's a brand I've been in love to for that price. You know, like I was telling before, I'm not paying like 10 grand for a Grand Seiko, but like 4 or 5 grand, I feel comfortable paying it for a watch that it's not the Bulgari. I use Grand Seiko very, very often.
I just want to interrupt you just for 1 second. Our good friend Junior Johnson's leaving us, so I just want to say goodbye, Junior. Thank you for joining us.
Take care, JJ. Yeah, take care, my friend.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alejandro.
So, Alejandro, are these all spring drive movements?
Right.
Yes,
very interesting.
And you know, the dial it's very beautiful in the Grand Seiko. The bracelet is very comfortable. It's not the high-end bracelet in the world. Everybody knows it. But it's a very comfortable watch to wear. Very nice dial to see. Very accurate watch to, you know. So I think it's a very, very interesting brand for some of the people who is watching to spend between 4 or 5 grand. Definitely go for a GC or it's a GS. The bias of the Seiko, it's really worth, you know, having at least one in your collection and not so many Rolexes just because of the investment point of view.
I would agree. Yes, definitely worth having one in the collection if you can afford it. Yeah.
Hey, Bill, do you consider spring drive? The spring drive mechanism itself to be an escapement?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't want to say anything about the spring drives because it's brilliant technology and everything like that. But I see it in another kind of very practical, good-looking watch. But it's I'm just not into quartz, and there's nothing wrong with it. I suppose some of us like quartz. I mean, or don't mind quartz, especially in a mechanical context, like the spring drive. Or
I'm not asking you if you like the idea of it. I'm just saying, do you consider spring drive to be an escapement?
Boy. Spring drives, let me see. They create an electrical charge to drive the quartz.
No, it creates a stopping mechanism to speed up or slow down.
How do they get? Okay, how do they get the vibrations?
Well,
how do they get the charge for the quartz then? Because there's no battery.
So I think it's really a hybrid setup, right? Where the mainspring is powering 2 things, right? So it's powering the mechanical movement, so the drivetrain, and then it also powers it creates an electric current, right? Okay. To then also power the escapement, which is, you're right, it is quartz based, but in this case, the quartz I don't want to say mechanism, but the circuit is used to power an electromagnet, and then the magnet basically replaces the hairspring.
Is there a mainspring?
Yeah, there is. There is. It basically, Bill, the power train is very, very similar to any type of mechanical watch. It's just that there's no hairspring at the end.
You want to show us one, Alejandro?
I don't have any Grand Seikos here. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, fine. You go ahead and show us the next watch.
All right, just give me a second, and we'll pull that up. But very interesting trio, Alejandro. Very
Lovely.
interesting.
Yeah, interesting to see 3 Grand Seikos together. Definitely.
Yeah, I think Spring Drive's amazing technology.
Well, nothing to tell you more about my favorite watch, of the whole collection. Very special story behind it. The most important thing is at the back. It's supposed to remind me my PhD, but when I see this watch, it reminds me to my parents, and I become very sentimental every time I see this watch.
So you would say that's the favorite watch of your collection?
Definitely, it's far more important than a watch. Watches are just a piece of metal. The important thing is the story about the watch. So the more
I love it, Alejandro. That's the right way to go about thinking.
Definitely. The more important a story goes, the more important the watch is. The other one is money and an investment or not, but watches are about stories, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, this is what this hobby is all about. It's the story behind the watch, behind the decision, and the memories that are attached to it. And that's what makes this hobby special, at least to me. And this is a perfect example of it, Alejandro. And I don't blame you for being in love with this watch, because it's lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah,
so we'll start to move along.
You want to hear a story about emotionally mad at a watch for years?
Go on, Bill.
This is weird. I got probably most people know about this because I complained about it for years. But El Leroy has this storied history. In 1900, before that, for Marie Antoinette, Leroy made a watch for her boyfriend, who was the Swedish consul. And so, I mean, it goes way back, and he worked with Breguet and so forth. And then in 1900, they had the most complicated watch, and that lasted until 1989 when Patek Philippe came up with the most complicated one. And then finally, I think it was in 2013 or 14, somewhere around then, Vacheron Constantin had the most complicated watch. And so, I mean, anyway, so it comes from a very story. So I bought this one I got, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it was really just a beautiful watch, big hunk of gold, really nice dial. And I asked them, I said, what was the movement in it? And they said, well, we think it's a Frederic Breguet. And I said, that's fine. So I took it up to a friend of mine who used to be a judge for the Grand Prix. And he looked at it, he said, that's an ETA movement they put in there. They put it in ETA 7001. And so I was mad at that watch, even though it was a beautiful watch. And so it's the opposite of Alejandro's feelings. I mean, you still have feelings about a watch, but I could never get over it. And I finally traded it for a Christian Vanderclaw, which I thought, okay, this has got a Soprod A10 in it, which I really like.
Right.
So I thought, okay, that's great. And this is what they told me. So then I found out it had an ETA in it. It was an ETA 2092. So it was sort of it was a watch with a curse, I think.
That's funny.
Sorry, guys.
No.
I understand Alejandro's when you have a feeling about a watch, but sometimes they're not positive.
Definitely, yes.
All right, so we'll go on to Alejandro's next beautiful piece in his collection.
Wow, look at that.
Well,
5711, is that, Alejandro?
Yes.
The soon-to-be discontinued 5711.
That's
true. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's right. And when I got it like a couple of years ago, it was very hard, it was already very hard. But since I got it just became more and more expensive, more and more difficult to get. So it's a piece. It's probably, besides the IWC, my favorite piece. Not because of the price. It's because it's something different than Rolex, and it's just, the more you know me, the more you see this watch is for me, because it's so subtle. It's not a great complication. It's not gold. It's just you who knows what it's on your wrist. It's very subtle. So anyone wearing like a gold tab, it's if there is a thief, they're going to go for him. And
yeah,
exactly.
And there isn't an occasion in which 5711 is not the right watch to have. You can wear it when you're shopping. You can wear it for a wedding. You can wear it for a conference.
Right.
You can wear everything. It's so comfortable, so subtle, so low profile, and it's really high class.
I was going to ask you, Alejandro, what sort of waiting time can you expect to wait for one of these? Did you wait for a long time, or was there one in the shop,
like a year, something like this?
Right, about a year.
All right, that's not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. Like about a year. But it wasn't. It was difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. But when I got it, it was not like the thing it's now, like going for 100,000 or something like that dollars, because it's been discontinued. It was a very difficult watch to wear, to have, but it's become very, very harder and harder, and since I got them. So I was very lucky, to have that watch. Also, the AD knows that you are not flipping it, so it gives you more points,
Yeah.
How do you find the bracelet on this? I mean, the whole construction of the watch. Do you? I mean, the bracelet and the.
I love everything about the watch. Completely everything.
The dial,
everything except the
hands.
I think a so expensive watch deserves another clasp. Even the Aquanaut has a
better clasp than than the Nautilus.
Definitely, APs, Rolex, every high-end watch have a better class than a Nautilus, and probably the new models of the Nautilus will have a better clasp.
Right.
But it's a very small thing compared to what this watch gives to me, at least. I know people say, like, for that money you can have a gold tab or a more complication. It's just really not for me. Really not for me.
No, it's subtle and it's slim and it's well proportioned, and it's a beautiful watch. Do you not mind does the white date wheel bother you, and as opposed to having it color matched?
No.
Okay.
I don't mind at all. No.
Yeah, the striped dial's very imposing, and the hands and indices are very, very clear, and the bracelet looks very solid and firm.
It is, and it's very comfortable to wear. It's not like you're wearing a very delicate piece like a grand complication. I'm very comfortable wearing it everywhere. It's not like
you don't have to baby it.
You definitely.
Awesome.
Beautiful. I was going to say, Alex, do you belong to any red bar clubs or any watch clubs in Spain? And do you go to any watch events?
Well, my AD invites me from time to time to watch events, but I used to belong to a group, but everything they talk about is like from the investment point of view, so
really, so it's all of it
like the day is the same, like every day. So I'm not a watch dealer. It's really wonderful if you buy a watch and they're paying you more than what you've paid. But I'm a sergeant, I'm not a watch dealer, and they're like 200,000 WhatsApps every day. Like, this watch, I think it's going to go up like 1%, and it goes like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to do more about it.
Yeah.
All right.
It takes away from the attraction, doesn't it? Wow, look at this, an Aquanaut.
And an Aquanaut to go with the Nautilus.
Beautiful, Alejandro.
Yes, and the thing about this watch, the story behind this watch is not a sentimental one. It's a very funny story. I'm going to tell you the funny story about this watch. and the thing, because I have it on a bracelet instead of the rubber, which is the typical, it's the typical what you have on a rubber strap.
Correct.
So it was it's a very funny story. I've told my fiancée and she cracks up every time I tell her this story. So it was our anniversary, and I completely forgot. I completely forgot our anniversary. I was in the list with this Aquanaut like for several months. I don't remember how much time. And so I was running out from the hospital and going to my ID, and I explained the situation like, I'm panicking. I have to give her something. I completely forgot, because I had a very complicated surgery and my mind was like focusing on that anyway. So they gave me a bracelet for her.
That he makes these two different watches. One's the upside down, and the other one is equally interesting.
Okay.
There we go.
So they gave me the bracelet they had on the stock, it wasn't expensive at all. It wasn't expensive at all. So there was this watch, this exact same watch in the shop, and they told me, well, we have a 5167. You want to see it? It's going to be for a customer who is picking it up in a few hours. Of course, I want to see it. It's in a bracelet. I know you prefer it on the strap, but anyway, we'll show you. Okay. So they show it to me, and I think it must be a little more difficult to have it on the rubber strap. I don't know why, but they tried to convince me that it was more accurate for me to have it on the bracelet. So I say, okay, it's very, very nice. I'll just wait for mine. I've loved this watch. Thank you so much. Thank you for the bracelet, for my fiancée, and let's hope the Aquanaut comes as soon as possible. So the same day, they called me and they told me, well, the client who was the watch for has arrived, has seen the watch, and he has told us that he didn't want it because he preferred it on the rubber strap. So if you want it, it's all yours. So even if I prefer it on the rubber strap too, but I say like, okay, I'm getting it now, I'll buy aftermarket straps or something like that, but it's an opportunity. And it's like it was my self-present from my own anniversary. So it was really funny.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, absolutely stunning watch. I like it better than the Nautilus. I know there are a bunch of us that do the same, that feel the same way. But a really, really lovely watch.
Yes. If you put it on an 8 strap or in a rubber strap, it's also very comfortable. I have some aftermarket because the official straps, they're very expensive. Very, very expensive.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's really comfortable on the rubber strap, though.
Yeah, it must be
out there.
Yeah, I much prefer it on the rubber strap, to be honest with you, but it does look really interesting on that bracelet. I mean, I've not seen many on the bracelet before.
No, I'm with you, Thomas. I don't recall. I mean, you see a lot more Nautiluses on bracelets than I don't think I've ever seen an Aquanaut on a bracelet before.
Has Bud the Stud got one on the bracelet? I think
maybe he does. Maybe he does.
Yeah. I think it's unique. Guys, I got to run. Sorry. Alejandro, you have a wonderful collection. Good talking to everybody. Hope to see you later. Take care.
All right. Take care, Bill.
Bye, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for joining us, Bill. All right, moving on. Before
my
somebody gets
Batman.
that phone call. Your Batman.
Oh, you got your Batman.
Yes, it was my first Rolex. And I was telling you the story. It's the one I got after my IWC. I wanted something with a bracelet. I wanted to go for a Rolex. And this is the first watch I got when I finished my surgeon degree. When I became an orthopedic surgeon, I started to earn a bit more money. And I spoke with my ID. They got me like in 3-4 months in that moment it wasn't so hard to get. I even got it with a 10% discount. With today, it would be completely, unthinkable.
I swear to God, don't you stay stickers. I swear to God, you better not stay stickers.
And I remember they could send. Because the AD I usually goes, it's in Madrid, but they don't sell Rolexes. Mm-hmm. So the Rolexes AD, it's in Valencia, which is another city from Spain. So they're split up. It's the same company, but like split up.
Right.
So they send this Rolex to my home, and I've got the Rolex business is so crazy that they are not allowed to do it anymore. I had this model with discount, with plastics. They sent me home. And in 3 months waiting list, and today the market has really gone crazy. So I was very lucky. This is still my favorite Rolex, and they were the first Rolex I got, and it's not like my IWC, but it reminds me the effort I did with my sergeant degree, like 5 very hard years. So it's also a watch I will never ever sell. It doesn't matter the price. So nice. I think it's a very, very comfortable watch.
So it's got memory attached to it as well. That watch, it's like a keepsake as well.
Yeah,
definitely, it's a keeper.
And it's a stunning watch. Yeah.
Hey guys, I just want to say I have to go as well. But Alejandro, before I went, I just want to say very nice collection, and thanks for coming on. But I have to.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for giving us the news, NS.
Yes,
thanks a lot.
Yep. And,
thanks, NS, as always.
Bye to everyone on the chat. So,
thanks a lot as always.
Yep. Okay,
Take
guys.
care.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so we'll stop there and we'll go on to the next one.
So we've seen a trend of steel sports in your collection, Alejandro,
and it continues on.
Yes,
you're obviously not a dress watch guy. Then you're not.
I have. We'll see later the Zenith, which is also a little bit of a dress watch, and my IWC. But the problem with the strap watches is that in Spain, with the heat, you can ruin the strap.
Yeah.
You can ruin the strap. So, and the story of this watch is also very, very beautiful. And I got it from my AD because, last year, we had a very difficult situation here in Spain. We are still having it, and all shops or ADs were closing. Like we were in a lockdown, and we were like working in the hospital 30 hours every day, trying, to solve a situation that we were not prepared for. My AD was really concerned about it, and they WhatsApp me like every 3-4 days, like, how's everything, Alejandro? Are you okay? Can you give us some news? So when everything pretty much was controlled, like it's not already controlled, but when we were not in that chaos, they told me, we want to reward you for your really, really great effort, as a physician, as a doctor. We know you've been working hard. There'll be no way to reward you, but just pick the watch you want. We'll give it to you. And I say, well, I wanted a Daytona for my birthday. It will be very nice. They give me this watch, like as a reward for the COVID, So
that is awesome. That is the greatest AD story I've heard.
Absolutely, isn't it? Just near.
So it's not just a Panda, it's everybody can get a Panda if you buy like a very, very high-end piece, or if you had a very long relationship with your AD. But it's like sometimes it's more like they're rewarding your effort, and that's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah, beautiful. A reward of a panda.
Yes,
I mean,
definitely.
the white certainly contrasts very well. And how do you find the symmetry of the dials? I mean, ID guys pointed out in his video that he says the sub dials are a bit pushed up. Do you find that a problem?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think it's a relative. The symmetry of this watch is relative nice. It squares a little bit small. That's true. If you have a big wrist, which is not my case, it might seem a bit small for you. It's 40 millimeters, but it squares a bit small. But beside from that, it's a very lovely watch. So it's overhyped. I'm not going to dismiss.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay like 25,000 euro for it, probably.
Sure.
But it's a very nice watch. Like, things must be said. It's a very, very nice watch.
Yeah, so and a fantastic story to boot.
Yeah, you're obviously in favor with the AD then. That's a very, very good thing.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes sense, though, because if you think about it, if the ADs, normally then the AD would go up to Alejandro and say, hey, where am I at on the vaccine list? Officially, we don't have a vaccine list.
Right, exactly.
So, Alejandro, seeing as you're in favor with the AD, are you thinking of buying anything at present?
I don't have anything in mind, like apart from a couple of pieces of jewelry for my fiance and for my mother for their birthday. I don't have anything particular in mind to buy. So
yeah, quite content with what you got.
Alejandro, I think your fiance would like a bluesy.
A bluesy?
Yes.
No, she's not very keen into watches. She prefers like bracelets and earrings, but not not with diamonds. So it's not so expensive as it sounds.
So tell us about the sub.
Well, the sub, it's one of the few watches I didn't get from my AD because it's the new 41 millimeter. So because I wanted a 41 millimeter sub, and my AD just had got me the Daytona, the Panda, so it could be very unreasonable for me to have after another piece like a new sub. I didn't feel comfortable like asking them for a new favor. But I had the all No Day sub, which I think is also a very beautiful sub. And a watch dealer, which is a patient of mine also, just got this new sub. And they told me, well, if you put a couple of grams more, it's all yours. And you gave me your No Day sub. I say, okay, let's do it. That's pretty much the story of this watch. It's a watch I didn't want to bother my AD with this special order, so I just went through the easy way.
Very nice.
So this is one of the modern ones.
Yeah.
Sorry, Clive.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm finished. I was just saying you got a modern sub.
Well, Alex, I was going to say, out of the watches you have, I can't help but notice the overseas is your avatar. So is it the last watch you bought, or why does this one get the center ring space, so to speak?
It is the last. It is the last, yes. And the one I'm wearing nowadays the most. And
nice.
Also, it's in this world of Rolexes that everybody is wearing a Rolex or trying to buy a Rolex or talking about Rolex. So, to wear something different, sometimes it's like, well, I'm outside this world, which doesn't. I don't belong to this world of investment things. So my BC is a way of telling me, okay, you are not like everybody, and I don't know. I don't know how to put into words, but it's something different, from my collection.
Absolutely, absolutely. So moving on, we have a Tudor.
Yes, a Tudor. It was like I wanted something, because when you are on call at the hospital, like 24 hours at the hospital. In my specialty, you work with, with cast, with blood. So sometimes it's not very good to wear a very high-end watch. So I wanted something a little bit more like it's not a beater because it's expensive, but sometimes a beater watch.
Yeah, sure.
You understand what I mean? And they got this black one, which I don't know why, because it didn't catch my attention because I'm a very blue guy, as you've seen. So when they got the blue one, they called me, my AD. So they told me, well, I think we have something that can match that's something from you, because you want it for your calls, for your 24-hour calls. And it's a word I use it like 6 times or 5 times every month, which is the time I have to go to overnight at the hospital. Simple as it is, it's a lovely watch. If something is wanting to spend like 3,000-4,000 euros in a watch, just look at the 58. It's lovely watch. 39, if you have a very big wrist, maybe it's not for you, but for me, it's perfect watch.
No, I've tried it on and it fits well. And I just want to say a welcome and thank you for stopping in and saying hello to Megan Arthur.
Hi there, Megan. You well? Good to see you.
Yeah, the 58 it's a lovely watch. I know you enjoyed the time you had with it, Clyde. Correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a nice little watch.
Yeah, it's a great watch, Alex. I really love that. I mean,
yes, it's very nice.
Have you not got yours anymore, Clive? You got rid of the Blue Bay, have you?
Yeah, actually. So,
why did you get rid of it?
Huh?
Why did you get rid of it?
I grew tired of it, frankly.
Because it looks like a Rolex sub, and you're not a big sub fan.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Everyone kept saying, every time you look at it, I'm surprised you're not looking at the hands. It's like, you fucking asshole. I did.
Because as we all know, the rancher is the founding member of the I Hate Snowflake Hands Club.
Yeah.
So it was surprising when he bought it, but it's a nice little watch. It really is. It's I've tried it on and it like the Explorer, it doesn't feel small on my wrist at all. But moving along to Alejandro's next watch.
Yeah, the one that Clive wants to know is this the last one you bought, and why is it your avatar?
One. Yeah, it was like 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like this. I couldn't get the blue, but it was probably my last chance to get one from my AD. So the good thing about having it in black, it's a little bit more versatile, and I have a lot of blue watches, and I wear it on the rubber, so because I have so many bracelets.
That was going to be my next question to you, is that you wear it mainly on the rubber, not on the leather or the bracelet?
Yes, I'm probably the only guy on earth who wears it on the rubber, because all the people who I know wearing a BC, they are wearing like the bracelet, and the bracelet is awesome. But with 3-4 Rolexes, like I wanted something different. The bracelet the rubber strap is very comfortable, and it's the watch now I'm wearing like every day.
Yeah. It's your watch. You should wear it any way you want. It's your watch.
Right.
Exactly. I think it looks great like that.
And it's still on my honeymoon period. It's like you call, I think. It's I'm in love with this watch. I wanted the blue one, but now I've getting used to the black one. I don't know if I change it for the blue. Probably, but I love the black more than I thought I would like it.
Yeah, and coming from a fellow blue fan, it's good to have a little variety and in your collection, and having a blackface, I think works really well, and it makes the watch a little bit more versatile, in my opinion.
Just looking at these amazing watches you've got, Alejandro, have you ever had to go through any hardships because you've been short of money because you've been buying these watches?
No. I mean, these are expensive toys. So if if there's a situation, except my IWC, I would just sell them. And if I cannot afford to buy a watch, I just don't buy a watch. A couple of years ago, I wanted FP Jorn, like 2 years ago. I didn't have the money. I had the money, but I didn't have the money. You know what I mean? Like these 50,000 grants are not meant for a watch, you know? So you cannot afford, You have to put your feet on the ground, and that's it. So if I was
going to ask you another question. I mean, you just said about the FP Jour. I mean, would you ever sell any of your watches to purchase a Grail, and what would it be?
Well, I would do, definitely. Why not? I mean, as long as the story behind the watch is not powerful, like my Batman or my IWC. I think the Panda is also special, you know, because it's like the COVID situation. But apart from that, if the Vacheron, you know, like skyrocket in the next 40 months, and I won a grand complication from Patex, and they gave me like 30 grand for my BC. I mean, I'm not a flipper, but there is a situation you cannot keep everything you got. You know, Chargeries are doing okay, but I'm not like a multi-millionaire of that kind of guy who can, you know, keeps everything.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely watch, and you get a lot of bang per buck with it, because you get the bracelet and the leather strap and the rubber strap and a deployant. So it's great. This watch is growing on me steadily.
Well, here's the trick that I think it's pulling off, and I'm trying to figure out how it's doing it, because normally, whenever there's a watch with a date window, usually the date window throws off the symmetry.
Correct.
This one, other than like the pre-ceramic Sea Dweller, this one is probably the best one, the second best one at having a date and keeping the symmetry of the watch. And I'm just trying to figure out. I think it's maybe because the 3, 6, and 9 are just so much thicker than the other indices, I guess.
And Tim Queenan has a nice comment. He says, "Enjoy the collection. Definitely many popular steel pieces, and many would want individually. Be interesting to see you try adding something different, and maybe we have more variety." I was just going to say, have you ever been attracted by a gold watch?
No, never.
Never.
No. White gold, I want, like now, like in the future, not like next week, but maybe during this year, I'll probably get the 5205 pattern, like with the blue dial. I think that's white gold, but after you've seen the watch, it's not very in your face. You know what I mean? But rose gold, yellow gold. You have to know, maybe if I live in Miami, but you have to be like, I go to the hospital, you know.
Yeah, sure.
We're in Spain. You have to know where you are. I don't like patients seeing me with a gold watch.
Maybe in later years, later on in life, you buy a dress watch.
I'm not criticizing it, because if a man can show off, because definitely good for him. It's like I don't want people to see my wrist and say I'm the kind of guy who want to go through the people and nobody sees you, and I don't want to be the focus of anybody, the center of attention, and so I just want to. I don't like a Porsche. I don't have very expensive cars. I just want to go, and people doesn't recognize you. You know.
You got plenty of time. Your circumstances may change further down the road, where that might. You can cross that bridge when you come to it. Some of the guys in the chat are pointing out, like Rick on watches and Tim Queenan are saying maybe try and explore independence next, like a Laurent Ferrier or.
Interesting, yeah.
I think Alejandro's collection
Moser or
really good.
I was very close to a FP Jorn, very, very close 2 years ago, but it was like too much money, you know. And it was not the point to spend so much money
Right.
on it.
Now they're even more expensive now.
Yes.
Well, I was about to it's a good thing I wasn't drinking milk when I heard Thomas asking, well, if you think you were going to go for a grill watch, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. He has a 57. What exactly is a grill watch?
Yeah.
Alejandro, I think your collection, as it stands right now, is very, very tasteful and
Absolutely.
great style.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Neil.
Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. Don't listen to us. You're doing great without YouTube.
Another question, Alejandro. I was going to say, have wearing any of these particular watches ever got you any favors or won you any job interviews or
No, not at all.
got you any favors with the girls or
in the atmospheres I usually go into, people doesn't even know what a Vacheron Overseas is, or maybe a SAP, but they don't know what a Daytona Panda is. So not in favor, not against, because some people also may see a nice watch and have envy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my case. It's a subtle collection, and nobody at my hospital knows very much about watches.
Right.
I'm happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
All right, so let's move on.
Which watch do you wear when you go to Ibiza?
Sorry, which watch do I wear?
When you go to Ibiza.
To Ibiza? What's
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Ibiza. Party, you mean?
Yes. What watch do you party in?
I'm not a very party guy. I guess like the 58, just in case anything bad happens.
Smart man.
Smart man, absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the last picture that we have here.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a watch that I was very close to purchasing. Very, very close. Especially this, as a blue fan, I totally get you, Alejandro.
Yes, and I wanted the story behind these watches. I wanted I start reading about watches, and when you start reading about watches, you ended up like reading Zenith, no matter how you do it. The story of this brand is very powerful. I very fall in love with the movements of the watch,
mm-hmm.
and I wanted a Zenith. And the problem was like the icon, the Chronomat El Primero, and that it wasn't for my wrist. So I started watching another Zeniths, and I discovered the Defy collection. And it was like the one for me, very subtle, blue,
mm-hmm.
steel. And I don't have many strap watches. You have the possibility of getting a bracelet for this watch. But because I have so many bracelets, I prefer it on a strap.
Mm-hmm.
I can also wear it for a little more formal occasions, It's a brand, like it may not be the greatest of the investments, but you enjoy knowing the story and the history behind this brand.
I just want to say goodbye and take care, and thank you for joining us, Megan.
Yeah, bye, Megan.
Really appreciate it.
Take care.
Please stay safe and be well.
Yeah, and wish your dad happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, happy birthday to James. Yes, please wish him a happy birthday. But it's an amazing watch, Alejandro. And like I said, I was tempted. I was very close to purchasing one of these on the bracelet, being this is a titanium watch.
Yes.
But I like the leather strap, and I like the rubber strap. It's just
it reminds
it's a
me
cool watch.
It reminds me a bit of the Overseas, this one.
It does.
It's on the rubber strap, and it's got a similar shape, and it's got
the same.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got the same vibes, Thomas. Absolutely.
Yeah, it has. It's a beautiful watch. I love that blue dial, and it really is a beautiful watch, a Defy classic, and
yes, they are very, very similar. Let's see if I can put the camera
on. Take care, Abdul. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate
Take care,
it.
Abdul. Great to see you.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Alejandro, Neo had a question for you, which was, is this your first collection or have you had previous watch collections?
Well, you mean watches I don't have anymore, or what do you
mean? Yeah, have you had watches that you don't have anymore, or is this...
Yes, I've tried a couple of times APs, and I've purchased like a couple of APs, too big.
Very nice.
Too big for my wrist. Like I bought the 400, yeah, 41 millimeters. And after wearing it like a month, it was for my wrist, which is very tiny. It was like a monster. I ended up selling it. And when the new 15500 came out, I say like, let's give it another try. And I bought the same watch, but the new version. And I had the same problem. So I'm not an AP guy. Unfortunately, because the Royal Oak is a line I like very much. It's just not meant for my wrist, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've got the Patex, you've got the Vacheron. Would you ever go for a Royal Oak?
I've been there like a couple of times. Unfortunately, they're not meant for me. I wish because I've tried the 15202, which is 39 millimeter, and I don't know why. Maybe because I wore it after my 15500. It wore too small.
Right.
I know it's not a small watch. I mean, it's 39 millimeter, but it wears bigger. But maybe because I just wore it like after my 15500, it wears small, and it's not for me, unfortunately. I hope like they make like a 40 millimeter Royal Oak, but it doesn't matter how much I love the Royal Oak collection. They are not meant for my wrist.
Fries with Mayo has a great question. What about the new Ed White, the new Omega Ed White 321? Would you buy one of those?
Yes, why not? The thing is that my AD doesn't have Omega, so I don't know how. Maybe in the gray market, I guess. But
there are no Omega ADs anywhere in Spain.
Yes, definitely. I'll just have to go there and try. Is there a watch that you can try it, or is like a super demand watch and you just have to be on a waiting list and something like that?
Yeah, you're gonna have to be on a list and wait for it.
The problem is that these watches I prefer to see on a wrist, because it's not like a Nautilus. Like you have to wait and you have to wait and that's it. But it's like the Royal Oak. I waited so long, and afterwards, when I saw it in my wrist, I didn't like it. So buying an Omega without tried one, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. Maybe the new models, the new Speedmasters, if they are not too in high demand, and I can try one on, like it. But I like Omega. I think they are a very nice brand, and they are doing great things in the recent months. So why not? I think Omega is a very nice brand.
Yeah, it's lovely. So you're obviously Mr. VIP, aren't you, with the watch dealer? You're buying a lot of watches.
I'm not, well, by AP I am, yes. We are not going to tell lies. I'm not the highest customer, but pretty much everything I buy it from them. My parents, they don't live here in Madrid, but they've been customer for 10 years.
Okay.
Wow, brilliant.
So you've got some loyalty to them, and they've shown it back to you. So that's fair.
Definitely. So it's a relationship that goes beyond a little bit the money. They really care about me when I was in this COVID situation. I think this is not the AD like they told you. Well, to buy this watch, you have to buy this watch. So I feel very comfortable buying from them. And when my parents start buying from them, like 15 or 10 years ago, I don't know, the watch market was nothing. I mean, you can get an Nautilus, you can get whatever you want, and we didn't ask for anything, never, ever. So when we ask for something, of course, they'll give to us, but not because we are the best customers in the world, but because we are very loyal through the years.
Yeah, it's wonderful that you've established a relationship with your AD like that, Alejandro.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
Alejandro, it was a pleasure going through these watches with you. I do
pleasure.
have to run. It's warmed up to minus 6 degrees Fahrenheit here, so it's my chance to go get something done that I need to do today.
Right.
It's
Thanks, Neo.
Thanks for joining us.
The pleasure has been mine.
Take care, my friend. Always
Yeah,
good to have you on, Neo.
I think that's about it, Alejandro. You've taken us through a wonderful journey through your watches. It's been great to see them all. Wow.
Yeah, you have an amazing collection, Alejandro, and to hear the stories behind the certain watches just makes it an even better collection. And we truly thank you for sharing it with us.
Tim Queenan's got a great question. How much wrist time do each of these get?
Oh God, I hate it when people ask that. It's just like, what are you, my freaking boyfriend?
Yes.
You think you'll really wear it? Yeah, screw you, man. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's
all right.
A very, when you have so many watches, it's a logical question. But sometimes I wear a watch like maybe the 58, the Tudor, and I wear it for a call, like 24 hours, and then I keep using it like the rest of the week, So
yeah,
I don't change my watch 3 or 4 times a day. I just go with one, and like the Batman, I haven't worn the Batman like in 2 months, but maybe next week I use the Batman and I use like 3 weeks consecutively. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's swings and roundabouts.
It's completely random. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
I want to thank Rick on Watches for stopping in and watching the stream. We appreciate that, as we appreciate everyone who's joined us and was able to check out this truly amazing collection.
Absolutely.
I love every piece that you got, Alejandro. I really do.
Thank you.
Really nice.
I think they're gorgeous, all of them. Yeah. Some really nice.
The best thing, was to share the stories with you. It's the best things about the watches.
Yeah, some beautiful watches.
Oh, and I want to thank Clive Rancher. There he is.
Is he back?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, welcome back, Rancher. I was just thanking you for joining us as always. Thomas, my friend, thank you so much.
And just to remind everyone that 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Bobby Legs is doing a Valentine's Day stream on his channel today. So if you want to catch that, everyone, that'd be a great one. He's doing with his wife, I believe.
Yes, Mrs. Legs. Day, we get to meet
Mrs. Legs and Bobby Legs stream. So don't forget to catch her at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 2 a.m. GMT.
Oh boy, that's a late one for you guys across the pond.
Wow.
But Alejandro, thank you again. We really enjoyed having you on, and we loved delving into this amazing collection. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you for having me, and congrats on the new channel. It's amazing. Keep on doing this great work.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Alejandro.
So all the folks in the chat, Carlos, Hatzi, Hansi, Nick J, Fries with Mayo, all our other friends, Hattie from Texas, and everybody else, too numerous to mention. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you all again next Sunday for another episode of Watch Talk with the Punters. So take care, everybody. Enjoy your Valentine's Day.
Absolutely. If you could give us a thumbs up, that would be wonderful. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
And you